everything you need is right there within you, isn't it? Okay. This woman is Ann Rubenstein Tisch. I interviewed her for a book. She's in your book. And she was the founder of the Harlem School for Girls, which was a concept that I really loved. And that was that you get at-risk kids when they're in kindergarten and mentor them all the way up so they could be successful. So I wanted to interview her about that, and I did. And we got on just great on the phone. She says, next time you're in New York, let's have lunch. And I said, oh, I'd love that. So I was going to New York, and I made plans to see her, and I was talking to my agent, and she said, well, what's on your itinerary? And I said, okay, I'm going to go to Penguin to see my editor, and I had all these things on the list, and said, then I'm going to have lunch with this lady, Ann Tisch. She goes, wait a minute. You know who that is, don't you? And I'm like, yeah, she's founder of the Harlem School for Girls. She goes, Tisch, don't you know the Tisch name? Do we have New Yorkers in here? I know we do, because I asked. Okay. You ever hear the name Tisch? What's it mean? They what? NYU. They used to own the football team, all the Lowe's hotels, tons and tons of real estate. She says, you need a new wardrobe. Well, so my friends marched me off to Neiman Marcus, and I, of course, find something on sale, and it's too tight. But I'm not spending for something that's not on sale. So I get my Neiman Marcus outfit. I'm in New York. And this wasn't too long after my starving author days. So I'm staying at the Howard Johnson's in Times Square. And I'm getting up that morning to get ready for my lunch with one of the richest women anywhere. And I see that too tight, beautiful skirt outfit. And then I see the suit I've worn 100 times that I got from Dillard's. Neiman Marcus, Dillard's. Neiman Marcus, Dillard's. And I put my Dillard's suit on, and I grabbed the fake Fendi purse I had bought the day before on Canal Street. And I went out in the world to do my best and see this woman at her restaurant on Park Avenue. And it's one of those places with chandeliers and stuff. And I'm sitting there, and everybody's coming by her table. Oh, Ann, so good to see you. Mrs. Tisch, here's the waitstaff. Mrs. Tisch, can I warm your coffee? Mrs. Tisch, would you like hot chocolate chip cookies fresh from the oven? Oh, Ann. And it happened 10 times. So I finally said, does that ever get old? And she says, oh my God, do you know when I throw a party, half the time I go in the bathroom and I call my girlfriends on my cell phone? She says, so you're a professional speaker, you probably have to travel a lot. And I said, I do. I do. I said, but there's nothing I miss more than dinner out on Friday nights with my girlfriends, followed by a nice trip with them to Super Walmart. And she looks at me and doesn't say anything, and I'm thinking, ooh. I just told her I'm a Walmart shopper. She's really rich. And then all of a sudden she says, I just love Target. And I said, really? She goes, yeah. Yeah, 2 weeks ago I went to Super Target. I spent $400, and the woman said, Mrs. Tisch, would you like to save 10% on your order? And I said, well, yes, I would. Well, anyhow, we stayed in touch. And I told her, I said, I have told people all over the world that you shop at Target. She says, well, Vaughn, I go to Kmart too. The point is, if I had worn the wrong suit, and if I had tried to be who I was supposed to be, it wouldn't have connected to anything. And we forget, we're enough. It's all right inside of us. We can just say who we are and be who we are. You're the only one of you that exists. So love yourself enough to let that person go and be free, be authentic. You have so much power in you that you don't use. You really don't. I mean, think about this. Dorothy. Wait, we know what that is. What is that? Right. She goes through all of that insanity. She, and then, get the Tin Man and the Scarecrow and the Cowardly Lion, and they go on their adventure, and they finally get to Oz, and then realize that the big Oz is really this nincompoop behind a curtain. And, he gives them a bunch of BS awards, and then he tells Dorothy, well, I can take you in my hot air balloon to get you back to Kansas, right? But that doesn't go so well, right? He flies away in the balloon, and she's stuck. All hope is lost until we suddenly see this big bubble coming toward us, right? And inside that bubble is Glinda, the good witch. And she says, all you have to do is click your heels together 3 times and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. No place like home. And Scarecrow's like, are you kidding me? Why didn't you tell her that in the first place? And she says she had to learn it for herself. Well, you can feel free to spend your life trying to learn it for yourself. I know we got some people who are really young in here too. You can spend years and decades trying to learn it. Or you can just listen to me. You've already got the power inside of you. It's always been there. It will always be there. You don't have to wait for someone to make you feel good about yourself. You are enough. And good Lord, what is it with us that we will spend years avoiding an uncomfortable conversation, staying in bad relationships, putting up with things that are borderline or outright abusive, bad jobs, because we're not willing to have an uncomfortable conversation. And an uncomfortable conversation takes between 3 and 15 minutes. And you know what? When you just do it, it gets easier. It's like those things that scare you. It gets easier.